It's the Illini Basketball Postgame Show from No One Asked Us. Illinois, big win at home over Michigan State, 75-66 in front of a nice orange crowd at State Farm Center. We're going to break it all down for you here. He's Craig Choate. I am Logan Lee. Follow us on No One Asked Us Pod at Craig W. Choate at the Logan Lee. Like, share, subscribe. Get into the comment section. Let us know your thoughts. Chime in. Tell us what we're right on, what we're wrong on. Tell us what we can do better.
That. I don't know if people to tell us
that. not today. Today's not the time for that. Craig, you are not in a different location. I don't know that we need to talk too much about where you're at, but Illinois basketball. This 3 wins in a row.
Whew. Yeah.
What's happening? What team is this?
Well, the old Illini showed up in the first half. We don't have to talk about that, but yeah, it's been different for the last week. That's 3 wins in a week, right?
It is.
Saturday,
3 wins.
Yeah, Saturday, Tuesday, Friday. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 3 wins in less than a week. It's fantastic to watch. It's fantastic to see this team adapt and learn and grow, and we'll see what happens from here on out. But after the loss to Northwestern, I said, just try and battle your way back to 500 in the Big Ten, and they've done it. So let's see where they go from here.
Yeah, 75-66 is the final from Champaign. I mean, it wasn't exactly the cleanest first half. Illinois led early and then did not regain the lead again until late in the second half. And then finally pulled away and took the 9-point win. Plenty of things to talk about from a player personnel standpoint. We'll get into some of that stuff. We'll just kind of get things started here. Let's just talk about some of these stats. Dain Dainja led the team in scoring, 20 points for him, 7 rebounds. Matthew Meyer, 19 points, 3 rebounds, 6. He had 6 blocks. Matthew Meyer, who has been, I would want to say, criticized for his defense. Sure displayed a lot of things tonight on the defense, and then we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a second. So 6 blocks for him to go along with his 19 points. Terrence Shannon Jr. scored 15 points in the first 9 minutes of the game and then went scoreless until the very end where he sank 2 more free throws. We can touch on him in a second as well. He finished with 17 points, 5 rebounds. That was most of the scoring. Coleman had 9, Jaden had 7, RJ had 3. It was really those 3 guys. And we can, I know we've been trying to do an everyday guy of the game and all that stuff, and we can kind of talk about that. But this was really a 3-man show tonight for the Illini. And take it for what it's worth, but that's what we got. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know, but that's what we had.
Yeah, a lot of my thoughts changed at halftime. I was kind of mentally preparing for a post-game show of one way, and it turned out to be a different. But I was thinking, Terrence Shannon scored 15 points in the first half, and then Illinois got down by 9. And I was like, all right, post-game show is going to be about how the old Illini team is back, and it was all one-on-one hero ball. And, the last 2 games, you had 5 guys scoring double figures against Nebraska. You had 4 guys scoring double figures against Wisconsin. And then this game's going to be the Terrence Shannon 30 points, but no one else is going to get to double figures. And then second half came along, and Shannon didn't do much, and Coleman came alive, and Matthew Meyer came alive, and Dain Dainja came alive, and it did turn into a team effort. So a very good improvement in the second half and adjustments. And I think, I don't know what was said. I don't know what happened in the locker room, but it was all good things and led to another win.
Let's kind of break down some of these numbers we talked about. Dane Danger, really nice night for Dane. 20 points, 8 for 12 from the field. He was 4 for 5 from the free throw line. Dain Dainja has been a notoriously bad free throw shooter. In this particular game, he looked really good. 20 points for him. I mean, he was just solid all night long. I was really impressed with the work. He can just do things that I would have never expected a guy his size to be able to do. And I know it's easy to compare him to the big post player Illinois had the past 3 seasons, and they're very different players. And I'm not going to say that Dain Dainja is at Kofi Coburn's level, but he can do things with and without the basketball that I would have never expected. And tonight was a really good display for him. And before I let you say something, Dain is the kind of player that I knew would have these games against lesser opponents. He's the type of player that against, the mid majors and the lower level Big Ten teams, you knew he could have 20.7 rebounds games. I didn't see that coming against a team like Michigan State. He really surprised me tonight.
Is he the quickest player on the team?
It's very possible.
Does he have the quickest feet?
He has really quick feet, especially
Yeah.
for a big guy. But yeah, it's certainly possible.
Those post moves that he puts on, that spin move is on a dime in a split second. And that's what bothered me in the first half is Sissoko went out with 2 fouls and they had the tall white freshman on Dainja. 3 straight trips he didn't need a touch.
Yeah.
He got the ball on the dude his first possession, went spin cycle, easy layup, and then the next 3 possessions he didn't get a touch. And that's when things really started to go downhill. I was really, really disappointed in that. I've kind of got away from – I still look at this after every game, but I've kind of got away from looking at it and saying it on the postgame show. But back to my analytics page here from the live stats. For those that didn't tune in early in the season, efficiency is like my favorite analytic stat. It totals up all the good and subtracts the bad. So points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks minus missed shots and turnovers. Danger was 24 in efficiency, same as Matthew Meyer. Anything in double digits is good. And Illinois had 5 guys in double digits in efficiency. Meyer and Dainja each 24 in efficiency. So a very good game from both of them. And those 2 are the reason that Illinois came back and won solely. I do think Coleman played well after a terrible first half. 0 for 6 from the floor, like 3 turnovers, had a couple rebounds, but Coleman played well in the second half to rebound. But it was Dain and Meyer leading the comeback.
Let's talk a little bit about Matthew Meyer. He can put the ball in the hoop. When he gets hot, he's honestly one of the best shooters there is. Yes. We had his comments last game were very anti Matt Meyer, and he definitely showed why he's out there tonight. As I said, 19 points for him, 7 for 12 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, hit a couple free throws, and the 6 blocks. Where did that come from? He has been. It's been well documented that defense has not been his forte. Now I understand. Block sometimes is all about timing and athleticism, but this was a different performance from Matt Meyer tonight.
That one block on the fast break was one of the best blocks I've seen in a long time.
It was incredible. It was awesome. Incredible. And then Izzo was a little fired up, but I think Izzo was fired up about the immediate after, because that should have been a foul call.
Yeah, that one was a lot closer, but yeah. I texted it do your hashtag, in the group chat during the game. I said, Matthew Meyer's the engine tonight. I said, Illinois got out to a 5-point lead. He picked up 2 fouls in 3 seconds. He went to the bench, and that's when Illinois fell behind. Fell behind by 6 or 7 in the first half. He came back the final couple minutes, and Illinois got it back down to 4. And then the second half, he was on the floor, and Illinois came back and pulled away. Yeah, he's the engine. He might be the best all-around player, I think. Again, going to some analytics stuff, he was plus 23 in plus minus tonight. The next closest was Jaden Epps at plus 17. Terrence Shannon, for as good as he played, was plus 1. So I think that says a lot about the way Meyer played on both ends, offensively and defensively. This is the guy that Illinois thought they were getting when they beat out those blue bloods for him as a transfer. It took a while. I don't know if he's finally fully healthy or if he's just finally feeling the flow of the system and being at Illinois. But this is the Meyer that Illinois expected all season. And I'm glad it's finally here in January, because this is when you need them the most if you want to continue to be at the top of the Big Ten.
You touched on Terrence Shannon, who we already mentioned scored 15 of the first 19 points for the Illini, and then went invisible. Finally scored 2 points down on free throws down the stretch. What's that about? Is this just him? Is this defenses figuring him out, or is he doing something differently? Why does he just go invisible for incredibly long stretches of basketball games?
We're talking about Shannon, right? Sorry, I was reading the comments.
Yes. Terrence Shannon Jr.
Yeah,
because there was
not
the
really
point.
sure. They said in the broadcast they started to face guard him. And I should have paid attention to the way they were guarding him after they said that, but I didn't. I'm not sure what's going on. I really don't have a great answer for that one. I don't. I'm assuming because he started so hot that they just started guarding him different and he wasn't getting his shots. But I also think he gets in his own head because he does get to the rim. There's a little bit of contact. He throws up the shot and he doesn't get the call. So he stops going to the rim because he's like, I'm not going to get the call. So it's like, it's just going to be a missed shot. So he changes his game. I don't know. I do like the fact that he did get to the rim tonight. How many threes did he take? He took 5 threes. I kind of had this thought too early when he was on fire getting to the hole. He needs to have more 2s attempted than 3s attempted. He needs to get to the rim more than he shoots the 3. And he did that tonight. He had 8 2s attempted and 5 3s attempted. So I think he played good. But it's when he tries to take over that Illinois gets in trouble. So that he went away from him. He stopped attacking and things started to turn around. So I'm not worried about anything.
No, I'm not either. It's just kind of a conundrum at times because you want him to be the elite player that I think he's capable of being, but we just seen him. It's just inconsistency. And I think that's kind of a theme for this whole team and this whole season has been inconsistency. But there was also this stretch in crunch time where they were really kind of taking the game over, a long stretch of time where he wasn't on the court. Brad thought that his best lineup was with Terrence Shannon on the bench. Now he eventually came back in and helped seal the game, but I thought that was kind of interesting too, because it was right after the Sincere Harris injury, which we will touch on here in a second. I don't think we've mentioned it yet. But Terrence went to the bench, and Brad was going with a 5 that didn't include him. I just thought that was kind of interesting, just to see what the dynamic is. But he looked fine. He looked happy to be there. Everything else, and then he came out and was fine. But yeah, it's just inconsistencies. And I think that's kind of the biggest question mark for me right now, and the biggest. That's the biggest thing. There's a lot of inconsistencies with this team. Sincere Harris, we haven't really mentioned. Yeah, he did go down with an injury kind of late in the second half. Looked like the knee. I think his knee basically got landed on. It did look like somebody reported he was ready to check back in.
I just looked. Joey Wagner was the one I saw.
Yeah,
said
I think it was Joey.
Check back in. He checked back in,
but he never came back onto the floor, or did he?
Joey's tweet says
he was going to check in, and then Joey quote tweeted, I think, and said that he didn't actually check in.
Okay.
I would guess Sincere Harris is fine. I know there have been updates, questions in the comment section. He probably just didn't come on the floor at the end because they just didn't want to risk it. They had a good enough lead at that point. But we'll hear from Brad at some point. I'm sure he'll comment on it. But it looked like, from what I saw, looked like he was ready to come back in. But we'll have to see if there's more updates there. Let's head to the comments.
All right. There's a lot.
We have plenty of people in here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for everyone for tuning in. Let's see if I can find one here. Michael's a pretty loyal viewer.
Yep. If we keep playing like that, I see a few losses in the next few games. If we play like that in the first half, yeah. Michigan State's a good team, though. And this Big Ten season, everybody's going to kind of beat up on each other. I don't foresee a situation where you don't finish the Big Ten season with 5, 6 7 losses. I think something like that's inevitable, especially when you start the season 0-3. So yeah, I think there are more losses ahead. If the team plays like they did in the first half for a full 40 minutes, yeah, they will lose. But if they also play like they did in the second half, they'll beat most of the teams in the Big Ten. There's not a team right now that I'm fearful of. The best team right now in the Big Ten is Purdue, who Illinois does not see till the very last game of the season. So, but yeah, I agree. I agree with Michael. But the second half, they played a heck of a lot better tonight. Yeah. What else we got?
Coleman Hawkins.
Yep. If Coleman gets the right head in the game, he could be an NBA player. I agree.
100%.
Yeah, he's always in his head.
He had the triple double earlier this season against a Power 5 team, not against some D3 school.
Yeah, he's a very talented basketball player. I think he has a good basketball IQ too. But he's in his head.
He also makes some of the stupidest mistakes I've ever seen a college basketball player make.
Yes, he does.
Good point by Brandt here. Free throws and turnovers, which have been the turnovers been the Achilles heel, both of them.
Yep.
The left and the right Achilles heels for Illinois this season have been free throws and turnovers, and they excelled in both aspects.
Took really good care of the ball tonight. That was nice to see, because Michigan State's no pushover, especially defensively. So that was nice to see from the Illini.
One more here.
Does this team have enough depth for the run down the stretch? So here's the thing with the Illinois depth. This is something we've talked about. We haven't talked about it in depth. I do think depth-wise, Illinois is a very talented team. But the question is, do they have enough depth? And the answer to that is I don't know. We don't know the status of Sky Clark. I don't know if we're going to see him back again. Sincere Harris, I'm going to assume he's okay until I hear otherwise. We know we're supposed to get Luke Goody back sometime soon, we think. So if people stay healthy, yes, absolutely. But this team is an injury or two away from really struggling. Now, we haven't talked about it. There was an addition announced this week, a point guard, who we won't get into all the details because I'm not sure that he'll touch the floor this year, but they have added a couple players in the past few weeks to this roster that could, in theory, play. They are scholarship players. They're not walk-on players. But yeah, I think this team could be an injury or two away from really having some issues, to go with Brian's comment. Do you agree?
Yeah. What do they go? 8 deep right now? 8 deep.
They're going 8 deep, but even tonight, after Sincere went down, Ty wasn't on the floor either. They were playing 6 deep. Ty did not play much
tonight. Yeah.
They were playing 6 deep for really the last 10 minutes of this game.
Yeah. Ty only played 8 minutes. So, yeah, I don't think you'll see more than 9. Once Goody comes back, he basically switches with Sky Clark. Gets probably to start, he'll get 10 to 15 minutes, then 15 to 20 minutes, and then maybe by tournament time he's playing more than 20 minutes. I'm not really sure how his foot's going to respond, but I would say, do they have enough depth for this run down the stretch? I would say yes, because they have Shannon and Meyer, who are experienced and they could play 40 minutes if they have to. If they're playing well and not in foul trouble, those two could play 40 minutes. So you have 6 or 7 other guys to split all the other minutes between. So I say yes. And also the player you mentioned, Nicola Moretti, point guard, I think he's more likely to play than Zachary Perrin. Perrin. I'm not sure how to say that last name yet, but I think he's more likely to play, and because he's at a position of greater need.
Yep.
He's a true point guard. I know Derek Piper at Illini Inquirer 24/7 Sports says that some people that he's talked to has compared him a little bit to Andre Curbelo with a little bit better shot, which that's what this team needs. Me and you have talked offline about this. Andre Curbelo would mean so much to this team.
I know some people don't want to hear that.
No, they don't. But at this point, Curbelo would have really helped this team.
This team does not have a point guard.
No,
even
they have combo
Sky
guards.
Clark and Jaden Epps are not point guards. Even if Sky was on the court, They do not have an experienced point guard. And I know you don't have to have a point guard in order. It's not like football. You don't, where you have to have a quarterback. I get that. You don't have to have a point guard. But yes, I do believe, and I'm probably in the minority, I do believe that this team could probably use an Andre Curbelo type of player to some degree that could help run the offense, because
I'm
at
pretty sure he's playing
times,
pretty good at St. John's.
and when he's not suspended. But they could certainly use that kind of player. All right, everyday guy of the game. You got anybody? I mean, I kind of talked about it at the top. This was really a 3-man show. The other guys, I mean, yeah, they did some things, but I don't. Nobody really stuck out to me as doing the little things. I mean, if we're just talking the best player on the court, it was probably Matthew Meyer or Dain Dainja. But I don't know if there's anybody else stuck out to you.
I would probably give that to Dane. I felt like he made more hustle plays, big plays than Meyer. I think Meyer played the best, but I think, when we go with this everyday guy of the game, we're kind of looking beyond the stat sheet. But I would go with Dane. I felt like he came up in the bigger moments and made the bigger plays and stepped up at the free throw line. So I would give Dane my everyday guy of the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he was the better player. I agree with you what you said earlier. I think Coleman had a nice game.
He almost had a double
9 points. Yeah, 9 points, 8 rebounds. I mean, that's what more can you ask out of
only 2 turnovers.
Third best player. I mean, that's what you want. So yeah, I'm fine with that. Anything, do you want to do the good and the bad? I mean, we kind of already touched on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
I have a couple other things that I do want to bring up here before we sign off.
I mean, just quickly, I think the good would be the free throws and the turnovers, which Brant said in our chat, and we talked about a little bit. The bad was the rebounding there for a little bit. Let me go to the full box score here. Yeah, got out rebounded by 12, 42-30 in the rebound department. I think Illinois out rebounded in the second half, though. Nope, they did not. 20-17 in the second half. So that's the bad. There was the rebounding was not great, specifically on free throws, which was weird. On Michigan State free throws, I feel like they got a lot of offensive rebounds off their free throw misses.
Only 10 points off the bench too. I mean, I know you don't have a ideal bench situation. I mean, Jaden Epps is clearly your best player coming off your bench, but yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. I think, as you talked about, the turnovers and the free throws were definitely the good.
Even the defense wasn't great tonight, though. Michigan State,
no, it wasn't.
I think they're still shooting pull-ups from the elbow. I mean,
the defense
it was open all night.
They broke the defense down a lot, and I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But either way, it's a win. So I'm not going to sit here and complain. But yeah,
Michigan
there's certainly
going to make some noise in March. That's a big win. I agree. They're really good.
That's a really good team, and Illinois is proving that they belong back in the national conversation. I would imagine they'll probably be ranked back again. They were already. Where were they at in the top 20? Where were they at in the poll?
They were like 34th.
Were they like 26 in the coaches poll?
They're 26 in the coaches. They'll be ranked in the coaches poll. Coaches have been higher on Illinois this year than AP has.
Let me look at the rankings.
I'm pretty sure they were 32nd or 32nd.
Oh, yeah, 34th. They were lower than I thought. Okay.
They only got 13 points last week.
Well, I don't know. Some of those teams above them. They might be back in the rank in the top 25 on Monday, because this is the last game before then. Where you stand on Brad and staff going back to the suits?
I hate it. I've texted you this before. I don't know if I've said it on the show. It's ever since COVID, like, the one sign that a coach is like cocky and all about themselves is when they would wear a suit when they didn't have to. Like, Mike Woodson still wears a suit. There was one more coach.
Brad hasn't gone back to a tie. Some of his assistants have been wearing ties, but Brad has not gone to a tie. I feel like he's slowly coming back into that. I think they started doing it at the Northwestern game, I believe was the first game they did it. And since then they've gone back. They've dumped the pullovers and polos, and they've moved back to the jackets.
Yeah, I'm team casual. I'm always team casual. I don't want to wear a tie unless I have to. So
same.
I haven't worn a tie, and I had a couple job interviews that I had to wear a tie. Cronin, yes. Thank you, Brian.
Cronin does.
Mick Cronin.
Yes.
That is the one that I was. That is the exact coach that I was thinking of.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I feel like I had one other thing that I was going to mention, but I don't know. It's probably not relevant at this point. Do you want to get back to the comments for anything before we shut this thing down?
Yeah, last call here. There was one that I wanted to point out. Here we go, from Jasic. He's been a loyal watcher the last week.
Nice to see Matt Meyer's interview.
See the interview.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
I turned it off as soon as the buzzer sounded. I turned off my stream.
Yeah, it seemed things seem to be a little more positive now than they were in early mid December. So good to see that. Don't know what the cause is. Not going to point any fingers at anything. There is a link, but whatever.
We're not going to speculate.
I'm not going to speculate.
And if Matthew Meyer is saying positive things, I mean, he was the most vocal about what was happening. So if he's saying positive things now, that I think that means everything's kind of smooth sailing. I did notice tonight that during timeouts, like the bench warmers and the managers put their arms around each other now. And I didn't notice that the first 15 games of the year or 12 games of the year. So maybe things might have turned around.
I like it.
I don't know that there's really any other things we need to talk about.
I was thinking I had one other thing that I was going to bring up, and
is this true? We don't go to East Lansing this year.
I don't know if we do. Let me look.
That's what I was trying to think of the next. I mean, Minnesota is Monday night.
No, Michigan State is not on the schedule. Illinois had a pretty easy schedule. Yeah,
I remember thinking that when they
do not go to East Lansing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's the only time we see Michigan State. We only see Iowa once.
That's at Iowa, I think.
Iowa once. You see Purdue once. You kind of lucked out here.
Michigan once.
Granted, you also lost to Penn State, Northwestern to start the season. So, those were games that you kind of wish you had back. But either way, if they keep winning, things will be okay. Anything else, Craig? Any other comments from you?
Thank you for everyone for joining. I think this has been our most viewed. I'm looking at the number up here. I think this is our most viewed live postgame show. So thank you for joining. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. We do a postgame show for pretty much every game. Not all of them are live. But now that we are in Big Ten play, they might be. But like and subscribe and hit that little bell so you know when we're going live next time, and we will continue to do it.
Spoken like a true YouTuber. The true
content
YouTuber
creator
that you are. Content creator, quote unquote. All right, we're going to shut this thing down. Once again, the final from Champaign tonight, Illinois 75, Michigan State 66. What is the record now? Because this doesn't get updated. Is it 12-5?
12-5, 3-3.
3-3 in the Big Ten. Okay.
Yep.
Yes, 12-5 overall, 3-3 in the Big Ten, 3 wins in a row. Next game, I guess we didn't talk about at Minnesota on Tuesday or Monday. That's Monday. Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Central. So that's an early start on BTN. Ooh. So Monday, and then I believe Thursday they host Indiana on FS1.
I was just nice week ahead. Post game show, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do one on Monday. So
our post game shows might be a little scarce the next couple weeks for various reasons. But we appreciate y'all being here. So when we have them, keep an eye out for them. If we don't have them, it's because we're traveling, because we're going to be doing a lot of that here the next couple weeks. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Follow us on all of our social media. He's Craig. I'm Logan. 75-66, the final. Good night from South Bend and Craig's location.
The beach.